Well, hello everyone. If you're joining us today via our podcast on our YouTube, apparently we're spreading so a little bit everywhere. My name is Vlad. I'm here, one of the advisors at Cyber Playback, and I'm joined today with my co-host.
Anouar, that's me.
That's Anouar, that's him. And today we're lucky enough, we're going to have the two co-founders of Mile2 Canada who's going to be joining us on another extremely fun, entertaining, intriguing, you name it. I don't have enough synonyms in the vocabulary, but session around demystifying cybersecurity training and certification. I'm joined today with Rick and Alex. Rick, can you give us a brief introduction about yourself before we get it going?
Sure, Vlad. My name is Rick Shore. I'm president of Ultimate IT Courses / Mile2 Canada. We're mainly we focuses on cybersecurity certifications, but we also sell a lot of different types of training to individuals and to corporations. So that's what I do.
And you've been doing this for a while, Rick, right? You've worked in this industry for some time now. I think that's actually where we met before a while ago. I don't even know how many years ago because I'm getting old. But yeah.
Yeah, I've been in the training field for almost 30 years now. Basically, I work for a company that I was a partner in for 27 years. We started out with 2 classrooms in Ottawa and became a national company for 27 years. We sold that off 7 years ago to Global Knowledge, which is a world leader in education. And I was asked to come back by my business partner, not just Alex, but we have another business partner, Ray Friedman, with Mile2 Global. We used to resell their certifications with my old company, Trend Canada. But Ray said, hey, why don't you come back? There's a hole in the market in Canada, and love for you to start Mile2 Canada in Canada. And so that's what I did with help of Alex Brankovich, our VP of Marketing. And here we are today. And again, our focus is on Mile2 cybersecurity certifications because we just see that it's a great opportunity, great products, and that's what we're doing.
That's awesome. Alex, a little bit about yourself.
Well, like
Rick said everything.
Yeah, we pretty much said everything. So, but yeah, I'm essentially I joined Rick at the CDC Train Canada as a marketing manager, and this whole training field kind of got my attention. I really enjoyed working with programs that have been developed, and again, cybersecurity was sort of a natural extension of it. And right now, with us having this, working together, this company is kind of, it's getting more and more fun. So that podcast is another kind of extension of that. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, thanks so much, guys, for joining. I really appreciate it. I think nowadays we're seeing how the market is kind of shifting. There's a lot of talk around trying to figure out what's the right kind of direction to go in order to get into cybersecurity. And frankly, you know what? Maybe cybersecurity certification is not the only path itself in getting into that industry, but understanding some of the things and how you can affect that decision to get you into that field, part of it can be achieved by providing you with a proper certification and knowledge. I always say knowledge is power. And so certification gives you that knowledge without you actually even wanting to do this. It just provides you with that additional insight. And so one of the things I wanted to know is, if you had a choice to go back in time, what would you do differently, whether it's in your security journey or kind of an understanding better around security itself? What would you do to position yourself in a more not only competitive way as you broadcast yourself as a security professional, but also understand exactly the market and what is needed to become a security practitioner?
Well, for me, again, I'm not really in the security field. I mean, I've always been in management and sales and things like that. But I think if you always focus on something and become really good at something, that's the key to, make it into a profession. And that's why I really like cybersecurity certification, is because it's a very hot topic right now, great at dinner parties to talk about, and you just need to be really good at something. And I find that the nice thing about cybersecurity is that it's something that you can learn, and it's not going to take you 3 years to learn it. I mean, you can learn it in a shorter period of time. You know, you can get the certifications and you can get into industries quicker than you would if you had to go through like a full university program, things like that, that I did when I was starting out. So that's why I really like the cybersecurity certification or any real certifications that are out there, is that it doesn't take as much time, you know, to get into that industry. And it's hot. You're understanding the technology while it's really hot right now, and you know, it just makes a big difference of time. I think that's the biggest thing is the time savings.
Agree. Agree.
Yeah,
Awesome.
let me add my own experience in here. So for me, as a person who has been in the field for about 8 years, I have never done any kind of schooling around cybersecurity. Most of my training has been certifications. And so for me, that's something that has worked. And it's something that has been giving me like value towards what I do. So assuming that you get good training and you can actually apply it well and you have a good foundation with that, then yeah, it's been tremendous for my career progression.
Awesome.
Yeah, like if you already have a job, I mean, cybersecurity is a great to get a certification is a great way to, you know, get really recognized within that job or advance within it as well to move into, you know, the just from as a regular IT job to a more specific certification path. And you have a higher potential for, you know, higher salaries, exam, and things like that.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, I think for myself is similar to what like Anouar mentioned. We started in a kind of different but also similar path in getting into security for the Canadian forces. Obviously, a lot of that training was provided, but there's also a lot of certification that is externally kind of resourced. Um, I can tell you that I don't believe that nowadays certification is necessarily the only path in getting a job, but I think that certification is a way for you to understand the industry itself, how it works, what is needed, what are some of the foundation, like Anwar mentioned, in order to at least be able to position yourself once you do start at that in that particular industry. Once you work in a SOC, once you're a cyber threat intelligence or security engineer, you name it, you kind of have that foundation. You can build from it. You can grow from it. And then from there, maybe there's additional certification that you're going to need. Like I saw, Rick, you guys have different levels of certification. As you progress through your career, you're not just using one specific one. You're growing, you're learning, you're becoming better. And I think that's the path of success is as you're kind of growing into different positions, you have that ability to go into an industry like Mile2 Canada that provides you with the steps you need to have that foundation. And so you are coming into a new position and you're not necessarily like restarting from scratch. You're growing and you're becoming better. And then the surroundings is the one that's providing you with that additional kind of insight of that industry. I don't know if you have anything else, Alex, in your regards and specifically around Mile.
Yeah, I think, you know, when I actually got a degree in business technologies from Ottawa University, and one of the courses, actually, well, quite a few focus on cybersecurity. And that time I got piqued my interest, but I think in my career I got sidetracked by, you know, marketing, digital marketing specifically. And not that I regret it, but I think and I wish I could have paid more attention in the class because cybersecurity comes in your daily lives right now from all kinds of, you know, areas where you don't even expect. I mean, you have all kinds of, you know, even on a you know everyday level, you get all kinds of schemes and scams, you know, coming in your life. So from even that standpoint, but being in the work environment, in the office environment, again, so you need some basic skills as well. But even going further as a, you know, digital marketing professional right now, cybersecurity is big. And to your point, and to you know, when it comes to education, again, like I said, I have formal education in cybersecurity, but it's really hard to show it to a potential employer that you have the skills. And I think that's where the because I can like, on my resume I can say whatever I want essentially, but it is the certification, having that certification that really is this signal to your potential employer that you got the skills, not just the clocked years or the amount of time that you spend training, but you actually got the skills. And I think going forward, it's just my perception of someone who actually has, I got like 3 probably degrees from universities. certification is actually the way to go as far as education goes. Not only in cybersecurity, all that's important, but pretty much everywhere else. So
Yeah, and the beauty is you can get the training anywhere. I mean, you don't have to spend money to do it. I mean, you can go and learn, you can learn anything you want online, and then just write the exam. So that's an option as well. You could do, or you could buy self-study, which is about a third the price of instructor-led training. And then over, you know, basically each course is about 30 hours. So with 30 hours, effort put into it, a little bit more if you're finding all the information yourself, you can write the exam and show that you have that skill set.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think that's probably the right way to do. Like when we think about it, and I think you briefly touched on it as well before, Rick, around you can choose to go to university for 3 years. I'm not saying it's a bad career path or anything like that. Every path has its own way and benefits and cons, stuff like that. But let's just say you go there for 3 years and then you realize that this is not for you. Now you just spend 3 years of your life. Not only you spend a lot of money probably going to university, a lot of time, a lot of stress, a lot of 3 years is a long time for someone, and that's time that you could have spent maybe building a career and stuff like that. So from that perspective, what do you guys think? Like, what is obviously we know the alternative that can be done from it, but what's your point of view from that kind of side? Like, what is a better option, obviously, that can be done, and why?
Well, I mean, again, I think you're right. You're always going to make mistakes in your career. You may as well do a 3-month mistake as opposed to a 3-year mistake. Because a lot of people go to university and college and things like that, and then at the end of it, it's just not what they wanted to do. But as they're going through that process, they kind of find things that they're really interested in. And I think that's the key, is find something you're interested in. Cybersecurity may be for you or may not be for you, but I mean, putting the effort into, going through the process of doing it. It's hot right now. It should be something that you look at for sure, because there's opportunity. And if it's not for you or you're not good at it, then you've only wasted a bit of your time. You can move on to the next stage, right?
And a bit of your money.
A bit of your
money,
yeah,
that is for sure.
I got two guys. I've got one son in university right now. Another that's he actually works for our company, and a daughter who works as well. And it's I keep thinking, well, hey, maybe some of them, they should be looking at the cybersecurity side as well, because it seems like there's good opportunities.
Yeah, it is expanding as well, and there's different. It's not just your typical, like in the past you would have different dedicated sections of sectors that you would work. Now it's expanding beyond what we would typically see. Now it's not just about SIM. There's a UBA, there's SOAR, there's a different position as well. I'm hearing about the other day we had a session around AI evolution, and there's different personas specifically targeting that industry. And that's additional training and opportunities for certification, such as like automation manager, ethical AI, and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
Which is crazy. So I completely agree with you, Rick. Like, I don't think this is something that is stagnant. Like, it's just going to stay in one place. I think it's going to expand. There's going to be additional opportunities that are going to grow from it, that I think users or folks that are looking to get their feet a little bit wet into that specific industry, certification or just like some training, initial training, will provide them with that insight. Is that the right path for you? If that's not the right path for you, then what are some of the other directions that you can go? And then from there, you can kind of scale and then decide if this is what you want to do.
Yeah, and I think that's a good segue to talk about what are the categories of certifications that you as a training provider, which one do you see as being the most popular, the most useful?
Yeah, for sure. So the most popular out there have been the most popular for a long time. So the CISSP, which is a Certified Information System Security Professional, it's been around for almost 30 years. That is a very broad cybersecurity certification. We offer something similar to it, which is, well, the CISSO, and that one is information system security officer. And what we did is we actually, the instructor who wrote the CISSP for IC squared also wrote our CISSO. So our course was written because D&D, National Defense in the US and National Defense in Canada, we're looking for a more job-centric certification where they could test their people to see if they had the skills coming through their IT division, or just to see if their current information system security officers had the skills within their jobs. Because you got to get recertified every 3 years, so it's a good test for that. So ours actually, if you did the CISSO, you'll be prepared to write the CISSP exam or the CISO exam. So we call it a kind of a 2-for-1, but CISSP is right up there. And then there's the CISM, which is the Certified Information Security Manager, real popular. Obviously, ethical hacking and CompTIA Security Plus. So these are the most popular ones that are out there. And I think you wouldn't be wrong working towards those. If you don't have the IT background, like you need an IT background to do the CISSO or the CISSP, or you can take courses before that. So like we have foundational certifications, like the 100 levels, which covers security awareness, the hardware technician, the operating system technician, those types of things that can get you the skill set before you get into doing a CISSP or a CISSO, and that'll give you what you would get if you were like working in IT for a year or something like that. So those are the most popular ones that are out there, but there's definitely certification roadmaps and paths that we provide to tell you, where you're going to get with which type of training.
Yeah, I just wanted to Rick's, yeah, I agree. And something that I've been noticing lately actually is the cloud security is becoming a thing. Like a lot of people are looking for cloud specific cybersecurity certification skills, be it Google or AWS or Microsoft. So they all have their own solutions, but again, a lot of the companies, especially if you have deployment in various cloud environments, they need something that is sort of technology agnostic, someone like with a generic understanding of cloud security. That's where we come in with our training, because it's not specific technology. We just provide you general information, and then you can specialize in we just provide a good foundation for cloud security in general. But that's again becoming as cloud as a thing is growing as a part of the business infrastructure. Cloud cybersecurity especially is becoming like a popular demand. That's what been asked a lot.
Yeah, I think
Cool,
that's
yeah.
definitely one. I agree.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, Vlad, I'm gonna merge the next two questions. So I really want to talk.
Do it.
I want to talk about at the entry level. Okay, this is like in the top of mind for a lot of people. They want to break into the field, but for cybersecurity, generally speaking, it's hard to get an entry level position. They need someone who already knows what they're doing. And so, what kind of certification you think is useful, but also what are managers actually looking for when they hiring someone?
I guess they're looking for like a solid understanding of security frameworks, risk management, incident response, compliance. They need practical skills like network security, threat analysis, problem solving, critical thinking. So they're looking for that type of mindset. And again, as I say, even if you don't have the IT background, I mean, there are courses out there that can teach you those things, like our foundation level courses. So, certified network principles gives you the foundation that you need for to get into the field. So I think that if you have some of those these are certified certifications as well. And as I say, my son who works for us now, he's in his 20s and he's done all of the foundation level certifications, and that's given him the ability to write the CISSO as well. So,
That's actually one of the ones I think me and Anouar we did in the Canadian Forces was just there's the foundation, understanding the network topology, the basic security practices, some coding, of course. I don't know if you remember what it was, the name of it, Anouar. I know we did a couple of other ones as well, but there was a specific one that, that Vlad had to get extra help from you to make sure he passes. What is it called?
It was a network defense analyst course, which had a lot of foundational training. And then there was the courses at the Royal Military College, which were pretty foundational. But yeah, it was a lot of training where a lot of basics had to be fed to us.
But I think those basics are and to bring back to like what Rick's point and what we talked before, like the foundation, it brought us in to be a little bit more prepared when we did our on the job training afterwards. Because I can tell you, like once they presented to us the SIM and the SOC and how it works and who you report and why and those tickets and stuff like that, I'm like, if I didn't do that, like the initial kind of understanding of at least what network and security and all of that stuff is, I don't think I would have been able to accomplish anything. And I mean, probably the first couple of months I wasn't able, but it eventually grew on that, right?
Yeah, definitely. There's like, let's say 2 layers of foundation. So there's a general IT level foundation. There's also the cybersecurity foundation where you need to know your place in the world of cybersecurity. So it's a big and wide space, and you need to understand why you're doing specific things and what actually reduces risk and why it's performed. Is it for compliance? Is it to protect some specific crown jewel? So there's a lot of context that is useful to have for someone that's trying to get into the field.
Well, and it's good to learn the basics first as well, because I mean, a lot of the holes are individual within your company. So like security awareness, just understanding where people are making the mistakes is, if you know that, then from a technical and IT professional side, then those are the holes that you're going to fill, because that's where your weaknesses are in the organization. So that's why we've been pretty successful doing a lot of security awareness training. We started out just doing, we go into an organization and we try to sell them off the shelf something, but you really got to get in there and find out what their, what the regulatory compliance is within the organization, and just have something that's real for them. And again, it's important, if you want to get into, you have to understand where your holes are, and a lot of times it's the individuals just working in the organization. So you got to understand them and what they're doing and where they, you need to fill the gaps.
I agree. I had one last question before our time is done, unless you guys have other questions. And I know we talked a little bit about like more of a strategic side of certification they have from a CISO level. We talked a little bit more about the entrant level, someone who's coming into the industry. What are some of the other certification that you have for like, let's say other personas like ethical hacker or things like this? And what are some of the steps that they can take in order to, elevate their skills as well? Going for that. Like, it doesn't have to be specific ethical hacker. I'm just giving one of the examples, of course. We do have one pen tester here, so Anouar can, justify if it's true or not. But so that's why I'm keeping it safe. But yeah, and I don't know if you guys can provide some info on that too.
I mean, I think the key is, like, for us, and I mean, I've done this in training all forever, is you almost have to show people what you have and then let them choose, because you can't say, hey, this is what you need, if that's not what they want to do or where they're going, or the kind of jobs that they're seeing on job placements, things like that. And that's why we have a certification roadmap. It's where are you within your career? Do you have any IT background? Are you brand new? And you don't even know if you're if you have the skill set to be an IT person, because it's getting easier now, I think, but you're either a technical person or you're not a technical person. And sometimes, someone who's not a technical person can actually be really good at the technical job, because they can explain things better to, the individuals that are maybe the problems in the organization. But there's all kinds of, management roles, risk managers, incident handlers. There's just all kinds of different, like, prevention, disaster recovery. There's 10 different avenues you can take into really focusing within the cybersecurity field. And a lot of them overlap too. Like we'll have, a certified security principles course if you want to be in the information system security side. But you'll also have to have those things if you want to be in response and recovery or disaster recovery, prevention, all those types of things. That all these things kind of overlap. So you just can't go wrong with picking up any type of cyber certification. It'll help you get to that next level or focus on a different avenue within an organization you're working in or you're trying to get into.
Ah, that's awesome.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No,
I
I
think-
think that's good. That's what we wanted.
Yeah, I think another aspect you might want to keep in mind is the industry that you work in. I know within the Mile2, often we have courses that are focused on a specific industry like healthcare because they have their own set of
Oh, wow.
regulatory compliance and whatnot. And that's a completely different ballgame. Or if you're in finance or if you're in education. So all those different fields, they have their own, niche kind of knowledge pockets that you need to have before you engage in those. And again, we provide the healthcare, but there are adaptations there that help you with your specific industry that you work in. If this is something you're interested in, like I know you guys in the military probably have something that is specifically to your area of expertise. So that'll be something to to consider as well.
Yeah, I do a lot of testing in healthcare settings, so healthcare application or environments, and yeah, it's a whole other world where there's rules and different consideration to care about. So yeah, it's good to know.
And they're terrified of getting hacked.
I think we're all terrified of getting it.
Everybody's
They're not very hard to
terrified of
But
hack.
getting
everybody's getting it. So it's like,
I mean, at the end of the day, people or organizations can't afford not to get the right people in the right seats from a from a cybersecurity point of view, because it's just costing them so much money and time, and again, they got to fill the holes, right?
yeah, no, I agree with you. And then I think definitely having folks that have the knowledge to be able to, prevent, or also when you cannot prevent those attacks, then you have to be more proactive. Having that knowledge to be able to accomplish certain actions that will not only, make sure that the concern around the security is doesn't become a bigger issue, but you can also stop it as quickly as possible is a big factor as well moving forward. But this is the end for our session. I want to thank you guys for joining, Rick, Alex, Anouar, my co-host, for joining this amazing webinar, Demystifying Cybersecurity Training and Certification. This is our first episode. We're probably gonna have more episodes because Rick and Alex are not going anywhere. So just so you know, we're gonna keep on tracking on you, just making sure we get to the end of it on this training foundation. But I wanted to thank you for joining us on Cyber Playback, and really looking forward on the next episode that we'll get together again.
Yes,
Thanks so much, everybody.
Thanks, guys.